Hi there, Yolanda.
Hi.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. Another beautiful day.
It is, and it's so lovely to see you.
You too. It's been a while.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I invited you to speak today with me. And as we have a history together of about, I don't know, how many years, 15 years or,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And we met just by living in the same neighborhood and resonating. And you have many, many skills. You're such a divine light. And we've had a lot of fun together through the years. It's
Laughing,
not, huh?
laughing fun.
Yeah, yeah. One of my biggest joys and memories with you, I have a lot, but one of them that sticks up is when there was a lake and paddle boats where we lived. And we would go out in the evening to watch the sunset, and we had the mountains and all of the nature around us. And sometimes how we would get on the paddle boat and we would just get in it, and then we would just start laughing because we didn't even start paddling. It was like we were taken to this space of pure presence.
Yeah. It was like an altered state of consciousness. And the sunset, the colors, it was just like we were in another realm. We were just sitting in the boat, and the boat was moving around. We didn't even, we were just started laughing. I call it holy laughter.
Yes, it was the holy laughter. Getting back to our journey together and just playing also in that boat of uh I remember sometimes it would look like a storm was coming in, and the wind where we lived would come in pretty quickly, and how we would have to work and kind of direct ourselves to the dock,
Yeah.
and still how we were laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just brings so much joy bringing those memories in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself, and on whatever level you want to just say what your background is and some experiences that you have, and anything that you'd like to share?
Well, my name is Yolanda Del Hierro, and I was born in Denver into a family of 10 children. I was the second to the oldest. So that that means a lot to me that there are so many siblings. But anyway, I went off on my own just to discover what it is that I'm to do. And life had taken me to a place where I wanted to go learn how to do the alternative, everything in the alternative healing, the herbs, the food, everything to help my daughter who had just a little bit of learning disadvantages. And I knew she was going to need some help. So I completely took her away out of the system, the medical system. To, in her, up to this day, she has never had any more antibiotics or anything like that. She's 50 years old and she's cruises on her own, and she's an amazing person, makes her own decisions. She's very hooked up with her own intuition. So I trained with a lot of different modalities, and always she was always my research. If it works with her, it's going to work with anybody. And I just so I trained in a lot of different things, starting with massage and cranial work, and just I have a whole list of my history. And in doing all these things, I have come to the conclusion that the real focus and the essence, that for the reason doing all this and helping people, is to really help empower them so they can be empowered to really learn how to listen to their own intuition. And so the body and the mind and the brain gets all blocked and things like that, that blocks it. So I've chosen some modalities that help a person do these things to clear any kind of blocks and things. It's an ongoing process. It goes on and on and on because we're always being um, challenged, I could say, with life's experiences. We don't know some of these things because they can be inherited or whatever, but they're always coming in. But the only stable thing we really have is that truth within us, the truth within, and to build that up because we have to, especially nowadays, we really have to make some serious decisions from our own guidance. We can listen to other people, for his take it in and really. So I've really had some wonderful experiences with some of the things, modalities that I've done, and I always haven't always been, right on because we can go off the path or off the center on a little side road trip here, but then we always know how to come back and regroup and realign because that's what we're here for to strengthen that part of our spirit is to just know without a doubt that this is where the answer is. So, and then the biggest, I have had experiences in life not even knowing what was happening about the intuition guiding me through things. I didn't even know it. It was like a natural thing, but I didn't connect with it. I do more now, but it's like when I was running on the ambulance as an emergency medical technician, the guidance that came, I was already doing alternative healing. So that plus the medical was a real wonderful thing because the guy that I rode with on the ambulance wanted me to be there so I could do what I wanted to. And so we both ran on the same trips and to what I've been called to do, just following the guidance. And so that was a big learning. And then delivering babies for a whole year. I just delivered a total of, helped deliver a total of 12 babies. And these were with women who were totally convinced and committed to having their babies at home, no matter what. And so these are the kind of women that I chose to work with because it's their responsibility too. I'm just there as an assistant. So it was that's a whole nother long story, but basically I was just being guided so intricately and so clearly during the births and things on what to do if I ran into a little problem. How am I going to figure this out? Answer it, come right in. It was just, and I had to trust it. Talk about trusting. That was amazing. So that was a time for me to really know more myself in the intuition and throughout my life still tuning into it. And so some of the what I specialize in now is a brain integration. It's like reconnecting the circuits in the brain that have been blocked. And because it's neural connections, it only takes like 30 seconds for that connection to be made. And this enables a person to have the ability to see with the whole perspective, not just from logic or gestalt, because we get into these patterns to live life and how to figure it out. But this when we have these two sides cleared out and they're working together as a whole perspective, your perception changes. And there's just a calmness that comes with people. And that to me is just really important. Little kids going through school, birth trauma, whatever kind of things we go through, head injuries, accidents, can really mess the communication up. And so it's very difficult for people to process their emotions and let them go or letting go of the past, or just associate with other people. So anyway, that's one of my specialties that I love to do, and it's I have to tell you a lot of stories about them, but some other time. Focus on one thing, and then the cranial sacral work also was something very very key. I learned that before brain integration to work with my daughter and help her system, and then that took off. People were coming, and that works with helping the system open up and letting the cranial fluid flow to connect and flow as a dance through the system. And it's in the stillness, and that there are such things called still points here in the cranial where you're holding in the system. I'm just facilitating where being directed where to put my hand and staying there for 5 or 10 minutes, because it's the intelligence of the person that is healing and that is changing things and aligning. So it's just wonderful for me to witness it, and then to just be there as a witness. And I've had many, many stories on that too, which at some point I'd like to do some interviews with some of these people that have their lives have changed because now they're able to access that part of themselves that they just couldn't, because they, like I said, I was always living my life through default. It was a default thing until I realized I had a choice. I don't have to always go on default. I said, this default is getting kind of old. And then, so as my spiritual was growing, I realized I have a choice. I don't have to go default anymore. And so that brings a lot of energy and power within myself to just stay on that inner road, stay in the moment, be in the presence, ask the presence for direction constantly, constantly. And that's what I like to help people come into their own being to do, because we all have our different paths, we all have our different experiences, and to be free in that is really empowering, and the reality of what we're here for. And so, anything else you want to ask?
Well, that's quite powerful. I know you've had a very full stepping into,
Yeah,
as we all do every day. I mean, to infinity and beyond. uh, as yeah,
the
so
real thing is we can go to these places, but we're here on this planet. We have to bring it into our everyday life. Everyday life. What am I going to eat? What should I do today? How can I bless somebody today? Everyday life, we have to put it into action. Whatever euphoria or feeling mystical experience we might be feeling in our meditation, or it can come upon us anytime. To be able to recognize, to learn to have the awareness to just recognize that very minute dropping in of, oh wow, the presence is really here showing me something. And so my friend was just this morning texting me, she's going to a retreat, her own little retreat center in northern, I guess it's northern Colorado. We've been to there's a story around us, but she was telling me she was just getting ready to go for 3 days in silence to be with that beautiful presence within her. And tears came to my eyes, and I go, oh, I said, and she said, bless you. And I said, bless you. And tears came to my eyes, and I said, my tears are full of joy for you, for me, because we're feeling that presence within us. And so that is, to me, the ultimate reason for us to tune our instruments, tune our bodies up, so we're in alignment with these higher frequencies. But again, got to bring it into everyday life, and it can be very challenging, and we can just really feel like we're in despair or going into depression or this and that. But that's at that point is when you can make the choice to see it as a gift to bring myself into myself stronger in areas in states of being that I never even had tapped into. And that's an ongoing process. So that's what my message is.
It's beautiful, beautiful message. I know that you have a history of doing silent retreats, and not just doing them, but being holding the space and facilitating silent retreats. Um, do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yes, because some people, they're feeling really in touch with the spirit. And, oh, well, I have spent time alone and do all this. But there's really something different. I have gone to 5 day silent retreats, 10 days, and one 30-day retreat with silence for 30 days with other people. And there's no eye contact because you don't want to go outside yourself. This is all about introspection. Right? And you don't want to read, you can't read or write or anything because that takes you out of what your inner guidance is doing with you. And so it can be very powerful. So I love to just create the atmosphere by having people come out of their homes, stop their world for a while. It's hard to be able. You have to put your whole house on hold. You put your cell phone at the door. Nobody gets to, unless there's kids. People have kids or something that can have just check their phone and make sure there's no emergencies coming, or they can call me or talk to me, so they won't be disturbed. So that's how I like to do it. But to create the atmosphere is just being able to guide them into a walking meditation, walking and just being introspective. And then we ring a bell and we sit for a little bit, ring a bell, and then it's time to eat. So eating in silence, everyone has a job, brings out to eat in silence at the table is pretty amazing. And the energy just builds and builds. And then the whole purpose again is to give people just a chance to take a break, take a break from the world, the currents of the world, slow down and just really get in touch with what really life is. So that's what I love to do. And finding different places where you can go, rent a little house or something for a couple nights, just to give people a taste, even if it's just to start off with half a day or one day, or just so they can taste it. Because you can glimpse it, but to be in that field, go to sleep at night, wake up in the morning, there it is again, silence, quiet, till you reach the point of stillness. The next day, you go to sleep again that night, get up in the morning, same thing. So it builds and it gets clearer and clearer because it takes a little bit of time to let go of this world. We begin to see what energy is pulling. Oh gosh, I'm giving that person too much energy over there. Or I'm doing that. You can feel it taking your energy away. And so you get to get clear on what you can let go of or just monitor a little more, bring it back. And so it's actually pretty fun. I enjoy it. And then at the end, we all come together and have our eye contact and get to share what the feeling is that they have. And so it's fun. It's really fun. I love it. That's probably one of my biggest passions, which I hope to create again soon.
It's all coming back in.
It's coming back in. I've been on like a sabbatical for a while now. So everything's changed. I'm changing. I don't even know how it's going to look like, but I've been on a little sabbatical for a little while. So,
Beautiful. Yeah, for me personally, I haven't. We have retreated together on our own in being together sometimes when I come to visit you.
yeah,
It's a little bit different. It's not in the silence of that, but we have a presence and usually a consciousness around being purposeful in what we're doing. Sometimes we are even hooting and hollering and and dancing and taking beautiful hikes,
Mhm.
beautiful hikes, and spreading our arms up to the heavens. You In those moments where I watch you do those things, it is just in your example of being who you are in the world. It's I'm getting emotional because it's just such a blessing to everyone, and you and I are both very forthright as well in our power. And so also having our voices out there in the divine feminine, and just representing.
Yeah. To be with somebody like you for us is just such a blessing because we can be how we want to be,
Yeah,
whatever it is. It's whatever it is.
yeah, yeah,
It's all in the stillness. It's all in the knowingness that
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
it has different faces.
right.
So it's such a gift, like to be with somebody like you that we can just say what we want to say, tune in to see what comes in, and
Mhm.
it's just magical. So
Yeah, yeah. And I also have a son who has challenges and who's an adult now. He's not, he's in his 30s now, but so that's a huge thing that we also relate on, of why we became even more into it. And I always uh, give that honoring to my children, in the sense of, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have gone in these deep and meaningful paths of exploration.
yeah, we've chose each other.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I knew from when she was born that I was here to help her uh,
Hmm.
get through the world because she was had to go to the hospital. We had a home birth, but she had to go to the hospital for some kind of thing, and she was sitting in the laying in the incubator. And I was just sitting. I was like 24 years old. I mean, I didn't. It was just normal for me. But she came to me and said, "I'm deciding whether I want to stay here or not." And I just went, just very unemotional, nonchalant. She said, "Well, if you want to go, if you decide to leave, you have my blessing. But if you decide to stay, you have my blessing, and I will help you the best I can to get through your path in this world." And that was it. When she came through, okay, here we go. The journey, the journey begins. So that is doing things for her, whatever potential she has inside. And that was the focus. Yeah, just like to keep her out of fields that took away from who she really is, and to allow her. Now she's on her own. She's incredible. If I had would have turned her over to somebody else, it would have been a disaster. So, and it's a very strong conviction. Every
Yes.
every decision that I've made for her was a very strong conviction. So anyway, I'm being blessed now because she's like this little angel.
And she is. I know her, and she has, similar to my son, who um, I took him out of certain situations educationally, um, because I didn't want his spirit broken.
So,
And having those choices, I'm getting emotional because it wasn't always easy. But it was easier than having them in the system and being on emergency calls, like literally dropping everything, being in the middle of the grocery store and leaving a full cart and having to go take care of things. So sorry. And so um, yeah, keeping the spiritual context, and what comes from these beings is so profound,
mm,
right? So profound, what they see, what they say, the space they hold in groups.
Mhm.
They cut through the BS. I mean, it's phenomenal. So yeah, yeah. And in some ways there's I say, okay, I need your input here. And he'll come over and give the input and be on his way, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know her son also. He's amazing, amazing being. Oh, I just his energy was just like
And
just
the heart connection
the heart.
for both of our children. I mean, we say children, young adults, adult children who I have one friend who saw him at a bus stop and like on a road that's very visible and said, "Oh my God, I saw him and my heart just opened." And
Mhm.
when you have that presence in your life, you can't help but grow.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
grow and be blessed.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I know you have so many different talents, your music and things like that. And I don't know if you want to get into that today or if you want to come back for another chat. And
Well, I mean, it's been a half an hour, so it's up to you. You can
well,
touch.
we can leave it at a half an hour and have you come back on. I think it's imperative that we do go into your music and
Oh,
some of your other things.
okay.
Um, and you might even want me to play. I don't know. I do have your DVD, one of them.
My CD.
I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, your CD. Sorry, I just pictured it in my head. Yeah. So it's we can keep on going, or it's up to you.
Yeah, well, we can broaden out specifically with these different experiences because that was another time with that CD. They were coming straight through. These songs are all original, and
Yes.
I have actually. Well, I have certain things, but like I said, I'm in a holding tank at limbo. This sabbatical is bringing different things in it, and I don't really it's an uncertainty and an unknown of how it's going to come forth. I'm still right there. So
Well, I'm happy to hold that space for you and create that space for you to
yes,
to bring that forth as always, my dear
yes,
friend. So let's visit that at another time. Perhaps sometime next month we can have you back on and just or whatever you feel is right in right timing.
okay. So could I just say, if anyone wants to really know more about what I do to help them, they can get into contact with me with my email, and we have a phone conversation. It's better to talk on the phone so I can know what you want, what your needs are. And I've got all these tools to decide. On my LinkedIn, my profile says Life Navigation Guide. That's what I've come up to be because I can't just say I do one thing. It's just all comes in as a whole. So anyway,
I love it. Showing up in your multi-dimensional self.
yeah,
We all have all these abilities. So and reforming the labels. It
right.
really
That's difficult.
yeah.
So that's
Well,
why.
perfect. Yeah. So I'll have your email listed in below the video. And I love you. I honor you in deep and meaningful ways. May you find peace throughout your day and on your journey. May we meet again soon.
Yes, same to you. Back to you.
Thank you. Love you. You take care, Yolanda.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.